Welcome to the Creative Brew, helping you keep your creative juices brewing. We're giving out chunks of insight, motivation, and practicality for your creative journey. If you're a creator, athlete, or entrepreneur, luck can only get you so far. Having the right skill sets are critical in your success. All Skill No Luck makes handcrafted, custom-designed flannel wear, made in the United States and based here right in Oceanside, California. They pride themselves on quality, creativity, and attitude. The perfect brand for the Creative Brew. Use promo code CreativeBrew10 and get 10% off and free shipping within the United States. You can check them out at allskillnoluck.com. My next partner is Elevate Coffee Trading, and if you appreciate specialty coffee, enjoy outdoor adventure, and love helping elevate the lives of children around the world, then you're going to love Elevate Coffee Trading. Their mission is to extract hope through love, coffee, and adventures. There's free shipping in the United States, and every bag of coffee helps sponsor health and education for children in coffee-producing countries and in areas of need in the United States. You can use promo code Elevate21 on your next order, and you can follow their journey on social media at Elevate Coffee Trading. Or you can visit online at elevatecoffeetrading.com, and let's start extracting hope together. And this show is brought to you by Tennessee Grappling Apparel, based out of the Knoxville area. Lifestyle wear for the modern wrestler or grappler. Use the promo code CB10 on your next purchase at TennesseeGrapplingApparel.com. And welcome to a new episode of the Creative Brew, giving you insights on your creative journey. Today we have Issac Knable. He's the founder and creator of the Footwork Trainer. This is something I actually found. I found this online. Just, sometimes I tend to go down that that rabbit hole sometimes, and you start searching, and I end up finding Issac over social media on Instagram, and I saw him starting to do all these footwork drills and things like that. And me personally, like I said, I'm still training and competing, so I'm always looking to find footwork drills or find certain drills to work on my positioning, work on my footwork. And I saw, all this content you were coming out with, and then saw you had this actual system and mat in place to actually do this, to actually do the Footwork Trainer. So I was like, oh, well, this is pretty cool. So I, started following you, and, and like I said, finally got you on the show. So, glad to have you. But, by all means, please tell the audience, a little bit about you and your story, and we'll get going.
Yeah. So, well, thanks for having me on. But yeah, I mean, the Footwork Trainer. So, well, I'm a teacher and wrestling coach, and I got three daughters in elementary grades, and married. But one day, I mean, the footwork mat came along. I started coaching wrestling after I graduated college from Indiana University, and then my head coach at my high school, St. Xavier in Louisville, he just wanted to get me, kept asking me to coach, and I was kind of done. I was ready to just go into construction. I was pouring concrete and kind of doing my own thing. And he kept bugging me to come back and help coach. So finally I came in, and for like 2 or 3 years, kind of just helped out, just showed up when I could. And then anyways, long story short, I ended up getting a teaching job, PE and health, and we just started coaching together. So the footwork mat, we'd always a couple kids I was training, these group of brothers and a couple other kids, we would always, I mean, we spent a lot of time in the mat room, mainly just a lot of times just us, but we're always just coming up with different footwork drills, putting tape down on the mats, putting some athletic tape. I think every coach has probably done it. And, I was just one day, so if kids would get hurt or injured, then I would mark out footwork stuff they could do at home or in their basement. And one day on my lunch break in the teacher's lounge, I was just, I don't know, for some reason, just started, got a piece of cardboard out of the recycling bin and put some dots down on the cardboard, and called up my one of my buddies that I wrestled with, Joe Dubuque. He coaches at Princeton now. They just had national champ Pat Glory, but called him up. I was all excited, and he's like, "Yeah, man, sounds like it could help a lot of kids." So, so I came up with a little prototype on cardboard, and then eventually kind of ran with that for a couple months, and then I just got off track from it for about a year or so, I would say, and then circled back around to it. A bit hard trying to finally came up with my design, learned how to do like and stuff in my off periods at school, teaching and lunchtime, and just messing with that, and had a lot of access to people that helped me at school. And then through another wrestling connection, a guy down the street printed vinyl and did vinyl wraps and signs and everything. So I had him make me another prototype. He printed like a big sticker he put down on the floor, and that really didn't work. Then he made me some footprints, and those kept tearing up, but it gave me enough to get the design. And then so that process was probably about another 6 months, and then emailing, trying to find somebody to make it. And I mean, I'd sent to make it cost effective for, people to be able to afford. And so kind of gave up on it again to be about, so it was probably about, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years from the time I, thought about it. And then one morning, because I'd emailed, I don't know, close to probably 100 contacts and driving around town. But just one morning I woke up like at 4 a.m. and just sent an email that just went after it again after it had been 3 to 6 months off from it, and just started getting this guy. We just started chatting and ended up getting a prototype. And then, that's about it on that. And then now just got a buddy to help me with, the logo and stuff, another wrestling connection, and just, kind of trying to just figure it all out. And then just really started, with COVID and getting locked down. It was kind of like, actually right before that, I'd just put in, I think, my second order when COVID, and that's when I really started picking up like social media stuff, just working out at home, and mainly started going live for the kids at club, because we couldn't get together for that first month or so. So I just started posting live workouts and going live, and, just got a lot of feedback. And then, kind of, it obviously helped getting the awareness of the Footwork Trainer out there and stuff. So that's kind of in a brief summary. It was a long journey, but it was I definitely learned a lot. Another wrestling connection, I was able to get a patent, and the lawyer ended up being a really good friend, so helped me on a lot of cost with that. Not even asking for it, just asking. I guess just a kid I'd coached. He's another group of brothers, that I'd been with their family for forever, and just, wrestled with them forever. And they just put me in the hands of a lawyer to help with the patent stuff that I knew nothing about. So learned quite a bit through the process on all that stuff. So yeah, it was fun.
That's awesome. Like I said, especially when for anyone that's starting out, trying to build a business or trying to build a product. I mean, you're going through the whole manufacturing phase. I mean, people don't realize that the amount of work and research that it takes to find someone reputable and getting all the little necessary pieces done. Obviously, you talked about getting the logo in place and working on social media and trying to market the product and everything else. So like I said, a lot of work. Like I said, I know personally on all that, but I think I always find that as a testament, because I find, for whatever reason, I find more and more former wrestlers that somehow or another tend to go into the entrepreneurial space. And I think it's one of those where I think sometimes it could be a testament to wrestling, or even to the sport, as far as having that that almost that persistence to be able to, like, if you can't figure it out, you just find some way to go forward with it, and some small steps, and you just keep at it. I mean, I think that's what happens, but a lot of people tend to just give up when you're almost at the finish line. And for you, I mean, do you feel like, as far as, like, even with wrestling in general, do you feel like that's how that, helped you out, as far as just overall building this product, and even like getting into the entrepreneurial space? Like, how do you feel like that's helped you?
Yeah, I mean, wrestling is definitely, I guess it's so ingrained in me, I don't really even think about it anymore. But my wife probably would definitely be there's definitely some qualities that is pretty get pretty extreme on some stuff. But really, my parents, man, they were, my dad, he didn't really wrestle, but like his mindset is, I mean, they just went from nothing to, and worked super hard, and just were never afraid to fail, or try something new, with an idea. And so with that combination, I mean, I've just been very fortunate, to grow up and being around my having support, and then, through my parents, and then adding in the sport of wrestling, it's just been really great. But yeah, I mean, just kind of, especially going into something like, I had no idea on really how to do any of this stuff. And, I never had social media until, I started a club. I got a wrestling academy, and Victor Wrestling Academy, and, started that. And that was, I originally got Facebook just to communicate with everybody. And that was probably in around like 2015 or so. So it's kind of, just really had to figure out all that, and just doing I mean, the social media side of stuff. I mean, just doing a lot of homework and listening to people, and that's a different animal in itself, trying to, I mean, with all the podcast, and then trying to going back and editing videos and cutting stuff up and posting it. And it's a lot of, that's a lot of work in itself. But yeah, it's, wrestling, just that, it's kind of like that's one of the most important things, right? I think we can learn from the sport is just, not giving up, or, chasing something down. But, what I've learned, I think now, most importantly, is like, if something, like, don't be afraid to change gears now in life also, like, not necessarily, like burnout. There's a lot of talk of burnout in wrestling, right? Like, in anything in life, like, but, either don't be afraid to take a break from it and come back to it, or like, maybe you just, was that kid really burned out in wrestling, or did he just interested in something else now? Interests change as you get older and stuff. So, not being afraid to shift gears and change. I think a lot of people might keep doing the same thing, just fear of what others might say. But I don't, can't try to have to not let that stuff bother you.
Yeah, you know what? I think you just proved I think you just said an interesting point. Why do you feel like, because I know the stigma right now. I mean, and especially in various sports, but I know I've seen it. I've really noticed it in wrestling, because I tend to be, connected to that sport more than anything else. Is feeling like you have to go 100 miles an hour. And I've sort of come to the belief, and honestly, I used to think like that too. And I think now, the more you grow and the more that you experience different things and you experience life, you really start to figure out like sometimes it's not wise, it's not the best to go 100 miles an hour. And I tend to, and even with my because I do a little part-time coaching, coaching some MMA fighters out here. And I've told them a lot of times is like I equate it to, having like a Mustang or Ferrari. Like you're not going to run that thing 100 miles an hour every day. I mean, like you have to downshift sooner or later. I mean, if you do that, something a gear is going to bust, something's going to tear up.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, we feel like we have to go 100 miles an hour every day, and that is completely false.
Well, and I think that's kind of like I know like my father's age and the men of that era, I mean, that's what it was, and I think looking at wrestling, I mean, that's what it was. And I think the biggest thing is just like, but they didn't know any different. Now, I mean, you just know so much more on, I mean, shoot, just recovery, the body. I mean, I'll be 40 this year. So, I mean, that the era of my training, and the abuse on my body and my, if I would have trained smarter, I would probably wouldn't have a hip problems and, and be at the, chiropractor and rehab as much. But, I just think everything's evolved so much. And I think it's good to have both, but just learning, I guess, how to recover and rest. And hey, we can slow this. If you're looking at a wrestling, we can slow this down and get better technically at it, versus just always ramming our head into the wall and, just laying it down. And which that's been a big adjustment, I think, for me in coaching, is trying to figure that out, but that's a whole, it's definitely interesting. I think it's good to have a little bit of both, but you definitely have to figure out how to balance it. I believe in everything in life, but everybody's a little bit different as well. And there's a lot of different ways that, that can work for that individual person as well. So.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a ongoing battle. I know the way, I was sort of coached a little bit more old school, so that the way that I'm used to coaches hollering and screaming and cussing at me, and
Yeah.
where you really can't do that anymore. And so I think that I don't know. I think you get your pros and cons with that. I think that you want to instill that discipline and toughness, with your wrestlers or with the people that you're working with. But at the same time, you want to be, because you're a coach, you're dealing with different personalities. You want to be compassionate to their needs and understand, like, what you say to one kid may be completely different to what you say or how you teach or coach another one, because everybody's different.
Right.
And I think just understanding that and knowing how, I may need to adjust just a little bit. Still keep that toughness, but at the same time too, know that you're fully invested in those kids, and that those kids know that you're, that you're invested in them. And I think if they believe that, I think they'll be willing to, bust walls for you if they have to.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, and it's all like building a relationship with them, like kids that come to my club, like, I got to treat them, I can't talk to them or coach them the way I do, kids I have no relationship at all as far as that toughness side of it. It's like if people see my dad not working and he's getting on me, it looks crazy from the outside, but it's I think definitely have to have that relationship, and get the kids believe in each other, and figure out how, like you were saying, to coach that athlete or treat them all fair, but they're definitely treated, in different ways, different aspects. And some kids you got to push, some kids need rest. It's and I think that's, what wrestling is taught, or what I'm starting to learn as I get older, I guess, and train, being able to want to train every day is just listening to my body and just trying to become more self-aware of, of all that. And I think that is the same with building relationships and, trying to figure out each individual kid if we're looking at coaching and stuff. But
Yeah, that's some great advice. So we'll circle back around to the footwork trainer. So like what, as far as, is there now, I sort of noticed, is there different mats that you offer?
yeah, so right now there's just one mat. I mean, we have a left foot lead and a right foot lead, and then I guess there's 4 total, and then you can get them in adult size or youth size. Um, so a lot of, I mean, the wrestlers, if you can, like, we get a lot of jujitsu guys, that I get a lot of questions from jujitsu guys on the mat, and then also purchasing it. Which a lot of them, it's weird because, like, if I'm boxing or getting ready to get in a street fight, I'll probably got my left leg for it. But if I'm gonna wrestle, I'm naturally a right leg lead. So, which you could go into a whole debate on which foot should the I saw you had to highlight Humphrey on, he's a big why are we putting our dominant leg front? That should be our power leg. I believe I saw him talking about that somewhere. But anyways, so yeah, I mean, so you would just, you go left and right foot lead, and then it's the mat. I mean, it's pretty, like, any shot you take, like if you want to shoot an inside step shot or an outside step shot, like, you are using this footwork. So it's like, it's so simple, but the visual part of it, one of the best kids I coached, like, everything had to be visual. He was a visual learner. Like, he had to see it, and he just did so much better. So that's why we started putting tape down everywhere. And it just, once he had that visual, it just clicked for him. But, and that's where the idea of the mat was, like, how can we teach kids without no one being that? Because I'm a big proponent on, like, you're going to train by yourself, so, like, I can't be there coaching everyone with this mat. So how can I get it to them and they can look at the numbers and then step there? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, so that's where the number part came in on the mat. So if I'm shooting a double leg, which is typically an inside step, knee over toe penetration, that's going to be like a 1, 2, 3, 4, an inside step, so, but the combinations, there's 3 basic combinations. I got a drop step, inside step, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I have a side step where I'm circling to the left if I'm a right leg lead. And that's 1, 2, 5, 7, which is still an inside step. And then a 1, 2, 5, 6, which is an outside step. So if you're going to shoot a shot, unless the only one is if you're hitting like a duck and you're dropping to both knees, but you're either stepping inside or outside. So just understand how to, where to move your feet and why, coaches yell all the time, move your feet, but, like, actually understanding, like, when I move my feet, I'm ready to attack, or I'm ready to hit a fake to get a reaction, and understanding circling and more like why am I doing this, so
That's actually, that's actually pretty cool because and that was going to ask if that footwork trainer was conducive for jiu-jitsu practitioners or boxers, and then at the same time too, with you doing the numbers, I almost automatically go back to a boxer coach, like, even when they're doing jabs and footwork drills, like, they're calling out 1, 2, or or 1, 2, 3, or something like that, and the boxer knows, hey, this is the movements I'm supposed to be going through. I think figuring out ways of giving those number sequences for wrestlers, for them to memorize, or at least have it drilled in them to know, hey, this is the movements that I'm looking for. And you're right, a lot of coaches are like, hey, move your feet, and I'm like, they just start moving in place and they're not going anywhere.
Yeah. Well, any movement's good, right?
Yeah.
But like if you're moving them to have them set to be ready to attack, then that's even better. But it's and the combinations, I mean, are just endless. I mean, and it in the footwork, I mean, obviously the mat is stationary. I mean, you do not need the mat. You don't need anything to get better at wrestling, right? I mean, you can go out in the yard or in your bedroom, or if you can't go outside in your neighborhood or whatever, like you can train anywhere. That's what I love about the sport. It's like you don't you show up almost any club, you can get a pair of shoes. Somebody there's a wall of donated shoes. So but it's definitely something, just like if you had some bands, it's going to help you get stronger. And the mat is just another training tool that hopefully opens the mind for people to understand footwork, and then create new sequences or ways to attack. But I mean, really, this is the base. Like if people have never used the footwork trainer, like they're doing this stuff anyway. You know what I mean? They might just not know they're doing it. But like if you want to shoot and take me down on, a head inside or a head outside or a double leg, like you're going to use this footwork no matter what. So,
Yeah, I mean, I know I actually started using, I mean, because I was, training for the U.S. Open for the Masters, and
yeah,
I was
by
actually,
the way.
oh, appreciate it. But you know what? And a lot of people actually was talking to me about my positioning and footwork. And I actually started looking at a lot of your videos and was started doing a lot of drills. Now I didn't have the footwork, man. Now I'm going to end up getting the footwork trainer, but I started doing some of the drills that you were showing online. And what I did is I just ended up just getting a resistance band behind me, and then I started doing the base movements, and I noticed like even with my shots and stuff, like I felt sharper on a lot of different things. And so I told myself, I was like, I'm going to get that footwork trainer and go through all the sequences. But I want to give a quick shout out to you, because I was like, I started looking at a lot of your base stuff. And I'm like, oh wow, I need to do this.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's all just, and that's one of my biggest things is like, how can we help? I always think of anybody wanting to get wrestling without, I mean, the mats, it's, the price of it, I wish it could be a lot cheaper, but, I can still provide, hopefully help people, kids, I think about kids with, nothing, or people, anybody with nothing that just want to train. So like a lot of the videos I try to do, I try not to have like any equipment. Now, obviously I have a nice soft mat I'm usually working out on most of the time. Sometimes I'll do in the yard or whatever, but that's kind of the whole goal of all those workouts. I call them on air, just workouts on air with nothing. So, but it's fun. I mean, my favorite workouts are like no plan. Like I got a 30-minute, whatever, however much time I got, 20-30-minute running clock. And I just, just start moving, whatever feels good. And those typically are end up being the best workouts. So I don't know, versus like having all right, I'm doing 3 sets of 10 of this and whatnot, just going in there and just flowing. I love those. So.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna ask you another quick question because I'm like I said, I'm always still learning, and I sort of find myself even now, like, because we've always sort of been ingrained in doctrine, like, okay, we need to do these pyramid sets, we need to do 5 rounds of this or 6 rounds or whatever, and and maybe it's just me like trying to be smarter with my time and knowing like, hey, I got other stuff I need to do during the day. I find myself like knocking out like 30 to 45 minutes or maybe even 30 minutes, and then that's it. Like it could be 2 sets or something, or maybe just a quick um 3 rounds, and then I'm out of there. Do you find yourself sort of trying to condense down a lot of little workouts and feeling like I don't
Oh
need to?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've just with my schedule and being teaching, and then I coach on a lot of my kids stuff. So right after I get done with school, I go coach my kids, and then if I have any footwork orders, I got to fulfill those, and then I got club practice later at night. So but yeah, I mean, every day, I mean, I do, I do even less than that, 20 minutes. I do 20-minute, 15 to 20-minute, but it's typically like I like to get my heart rate up, fast and quick. And then, but I guess total from the time I start the workout to the time I get, cleaned up and everything, it's about 40 minutes. So, but that's just a segment in my day. I know, and that's where I think a lot of people just even in just everyday health, like people want to exercise and work out, but like they think they need a long period of time, which I'm more of like, hey, start 5 minutes a day of just stretching, and then you realize like, hey, I set time aside for this for a whole month, and now this 5 minutes becomes 10 minutes, and then it becomes 15, 20 to whatever. And I just think, that I think that's becoming more popular. Like I'll wake up every morning and do like a 10 to 20 minute, 5 to 25 minute stretching, breathing routine, depending on if anybody else is up, or whatnot. If everything goes right, it's 25, but if not, it's at least 5 minutes, and then in the middle of the day, I usually get in my 20-minute workout, and then at night, I usually, 3 nights a week, I have a club wrestling practice. So, which is my favorite, but, I feel great. I have more energy, but yeah, I mean, that 20-minute go, I mean, it's fun. I just think, it's important to do that, whether it's, you know, uh, you know, like this morning, for my 20 minutes today, I was trying some new boxing footwork stuff. I just think that looks cool. And, I was just trying that and some bands, but, you know, but yeah, I think I love the short, quick burst. I mean, obviously, yeah, it'd be nice if I could pencil out, a 20, 30, or, an hour and a half workout every day where I could warm up, cool down, stretch, sauna, all that good stuff. But it's just not right now in my life and in the schedule. It's just not that amount of time is not can't. I hate saying I could probably squeeze it in somewhere, but it'd be really hard.
Yeah. So right now, so as far as what right now is inspiring you right now? Any kind of inspiration from books, podcasts, or maybe just people you've met recently?
Yeah, I mean, I'll get on kicks where I'm reading quite a bit of books, and I've kind of been off of reading books, or I started a couple I need to finish, but things inspire. I mean, I don't just kind of just wanted to achieve, keep achieving and trying to push myself, to I got a couple things, I'm working on, and just kind of trying to find a way to get those done, kind of like the footwork mat, and like how that started, and got a couple things like that going right now. But also, I mean, the biggest inspiration is just like my kids. Like I just, I got 3 daughters, and spending time with, like right now, I'm missing a stuffed animal WWE wrestling match upstairs, so. Which they're like, we might still be going. We're gonna do 2 or 3
Yeah,
rounds.
I would have skipped this episode for that.
But but I just I mean, my main focus is, trying to be the best Christian I can be. And then, number two is definitely being with them and helping them in whatever they need, but also, trying to figure out, what I want to kind of just that excitement of like, what am I going to be doing next? Like, and not looking too far ahead, but just believing in like, get this stuff done today. And then, and just keep trying to focus as much as I can on today, because I sometimes, a lot in life, I think worry maybe what happened yesterday or, the fear and everything is in the future. Right. But like today, how can I get better and just trying to really focus in on that, and in all my relationships with God, my wife and my family,
Hey, yeah, that's the truth. It's
It's hard. Like I'm not, it's a struggle every day. I wish all the moments were good, but they're not. So,
yeah. Yeah, I think for anyone, especially with all the things that you've got going on, I I think I sort of equate that to the 85% rule, to where, hey, you're not going to be 100% every day. Something is going to fall off. Something happens, and at the same time too, something great happens. But I think if you can be at least 85% consistent,
yeah.
across the board. And I tell a lot of people, like, I've been married, I'm married. I've been married for 20 years now. And, I've got kids and grandkids and like, running a business, running a design business and, all these little brands and stuff like that, even the podcast. And like, I do dumb stuff all the time. Like it's stuff where like my wife was like, why are you doing this? And sometimes I have to question myself of like, why did I do that? And then at the same time, I get something that pops up, or maybe someone sends me a message and it sort of reaffirms that like, hey, you're going the right direction. It's just that journey. Like
Yeah.
you're going to have those ups and downs and be fine with it and know, hey, look, you know what? I'm not perfect. I'm not trying to be perfect. I just want to be consistent and I just want to show up. And, I think that's where beautiful things happen.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think so.
So creative tips, what is a creative tip or tips for our audience?
Um, yeah, I mean, I think just, being real with yourself and, not being afraid to, when you're not being afraid to shift gears if something else seems to be more interesting to you, or maybe you lose focus on one thing. If I guess if I had to put it in a wrestling match, like, you're wrestling the match, but like, or training, don't be afraid to recover and, step away from something for a minute, you know, or if something like, you know, um, I guess it's just shifting gears, and going with your gut, what feels right. And then, as far as getting stuff done, like, don't be afraid to reach out to that person or send that email or make that phone call or text on, I know it's kind of, when I was first getting going and, trying to get the Mac going, it like actually, or even before that, when I was starting my, a small construction business I did for about 6 years, like calling that person up and asking them, how do I get material? It's like everybody's, it's just like a wrestling match. We all put our pants on, one leg at a time, and but trust in your gut. If you lose passion in something, don't be afraid to go and tackle that other dream. Stay true to yourself, and I think that's important. So, but yeah. Going back to like a couple, just like before, just, shoot, sorry, losing my train of thought here.
No, no worries.
Yeah, somebody is, saw the stuffed animal over there getting body slammed down the steps. So they're it's getting pretty entertaining up there. But yeah, I mean, as far as creativity, I think that's it. Like, I mean, there's so many different ways to, you know, take in, learn as much as you can, and then put out you know, do the best that you can do and what you're capable of. And, you know, not trying to be better than anybody else, right? John Wood, and no, you know, don't be better than anybody else. You know, just be the best that you're capable of. And, you know, God obviously put us all here for a purpose. So trying to figure that out. I think that's the most exciting thing for me, is trying to figure that out. And got a couple things working on, you know, that I'm really pretty excited about, you know. And one of them's for like wrestling. I think it's going to be a lot bigger than the footwork mat, and I'm excited about that. And then this morning I was writing I don't know how, I got a kid I coach. We get together and we're always throwing ideas off of each other. But we're trying to write a children's book about wrestling, and you know, I have no idea like how we even came across doing this. But we've started so many different ideas and come up with so many, and nothing ever happens on them, you know. But like, we'll get going and then it's just like we lose interest. And, you know, learning how to be like, it's fine with that. That's going to lead to something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess a growth mindset for creativity. You learn anywhere from anybody. You know, it's just like when you're coaching the little kids, you know, 5 years old, and they might do something a little bit different, you know, or hit a move that you've never seen before. And like, I think if you have the goggles on to learn from anywhere, anybody, or any conversation or whatever it may be, I think that's to me creativity. You know, how to get that going. So
That's great. That's great. Before we sign off, you know, what are some words of wisdom that you can impart with our audience? You know, something that may, you know, resonate with their, you know, their hearts and minds.
Oh, words of wisdom. Well, I mean, I would have to say, the people, family and friends that you haven't talked to, or you know, reach out and get a hold of them. And you know, if something's on your mind, or and you need to, you know, the older I get, I mean, life is short, and you know, unfortunately, seeing people that I love and come and go, you know, to me, that's you know, that's the most important thing. You know, when we get to where we're going, and you know, it's not about, you know, making the money, and that's nobody on their deathbeds, which is, you know, they had more money. You know, I think it's our time. What are we doing with our time? And just try to appreciate that as much as possible. You know I'm trying. You know, it's hard. We get caught up in, you know, in the everyday, or we get caught up in thinking about yesterday or tomorrow, you know, or getting, you know, but you know, emotions come and go. I mean, you're going to be happy, you're going to be sad, but you know, I think we're all trying to find that joy in life and what makes us the most happiest. And that's what I'm searching for, and I fail at it constantly. But but yeah, I would say reach out to people that you love and care about, and you know, simple phone call and or text. You know, whether that's with or previous athletes and stuff like that. You know, I love hearing from my guys, and I love trying to reach out to some of them down the road to see where they're at. So
That's good. That's good. So before we end this episode, how can people get in touch with you, or if they want to purchase a footwork trainer, or get in I mean, even sort of see the
Yeah.
workouts that you've got going on Instagram, like how
Yeah.
can
So,
get in contact with you?
yeah, I mean, so pretty Instagram, we're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Footwork Trainer. It's either Footwork Trainer or Footwork Trainer and then the number one. But yeah, DM us on Instagram is probably the best if you want to DM us. Get quite a lot of questions on there, people asking stuff, and had a guy last night just followed me, I guess found our page a couple days ago and sent me a message on an inside tie stuff he was having trouble with, a jiu-jitsu guy, I believe, and shot a video for him last night and texted over to him. I just love trying to help, whichever way I can, or if, and vice versa. I DM and ask people a lot of questions as well, and trying to learn. And but yeah, and then our emails, footworktrainer1@gmail as well, if you want to reach out that way. And then yeah, the mat is footworktrainer.com if you're looking to purchase that. And then any coaches out there, I have packages as well to send those out, and we can ship anywhere in the US. We've done some to Hawaii and Alaska. It's just you got to work out special shipping arrangements for those. It's a little tougher, but make it doable. So
That's great. That's awesome. Well, first of all, thank you for live audience for checking out this episode. But if you want to check this episode out, this will release in the next week or so. We'll re-release this episode. This will be available on podcast will be available on SoundCloud, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And then the video show will be available on my YouTube page at Quantel Langford. So you can check out this episode as well as all the other video episodes of the Creative Brew. And then if you want to support the show, different ways of doing that. If you're a brand or business and you're interested in sponsoring the show, send me a DM, send me a message, and I will send you packages on that. Or if you're just just someone that's interested in just supporting the show in any form or fashion, you can go to www.buymeacoffee.com, and for $5, you can support this episode as well as future episodes. So I'm trying to add in some extra content on the membership platform. So if you're interested in doing that, go to www.buymeacoffee.com/the Creative Brew, and then for the price of a cup of coffee, you can support this show. So other than that, hey, it's been great with Isaac. Please check out everything that he's got going on. Check out the Footwork Trainer. Go to his Instagram page. He's got some awesome workouts. And like I said, support another fellow wrestler that's building something, building a business, building a brand. I know a whole gamut of wrestlers that's doing some amazing things, building businesses, building, club teams, organizations, all kinds of things. Please support that community. That's how everybody uplifts and rises together. So if you're a former wrestler, support a wrestler in some form or fashion. So other than that, that's what I got today. As always, be creative, stay inspired.
All the wins and the outs and the smiles and frowns, they will tell you, settle down, stay on the ground. But no, I won't take